Okay, welcome to another class, philosophy class, and today we're looking at Thomas Hobbes. He's very famous for a book that he wrote called Leviathan, and you might immediately be thinking, isn't that some kind of demon from the Bible, some kind of sea monster? And yeah, it's from the book of Job, and I think that he uses this, and I say I think, I mean I've read a little bit about it, and he uses this as some kind of metaphor for the state, for this idea that we are more powerful when we come together. We're more powerful as a group, as a society, than we are as a collection of individuals. And I think that's why he gives it this name. And I want you to notice that right from the start with Plato's Republic, the previous philosopher, we had Machiavelli's The Prince, and now we've got Hobbes's Leviathan. Notice that they're all dealing with a state, yeah, the perfect state. They're describing the perfect state. And quite often, I mean, with Hobbes as well, there seems to be this agreement that there is an analogy you can make between man and the state. We certainly had it in the Republic, yeah, where we had the different sections of the state, the guardians and the commoners, and the philosopher king. And that was in some way similar to the mind, which was a three-part soul, let's call it, of reason, passions and appetites. Yeah, reason, spirit, I think he called it, reason, spirit and appetites. And there's something similar in Hobbes, or certainly he's talking about a state anyway, his perfect state. And before I even start, I want to point out that he was writing at the time of the Civil War in England. Yeah, and this was when Charles I had a problem. He had a rebellion. The parliamentarians rebelled against him. We had a civil war of the Cavaliers and the Roundheads. And Hobbes was certainly a royalist. And one of his aims in writing this book was to defend his idea of a monarchy as the most ideal state, better than a democracy, better than, you know, other forms of the state. Okay, so another thing that we straight away see right from the beginning of this book, he tells us right in the introduction that life is but a motion of limbs. For what is the heart but a spring, and the nerves but so many strings, and the joints but so many wheels, giving motion to the whole body. You can already hear that he's a very good writer. Yeah, he's very good at expressing himself. And so he is a materialist, certainly. He sees the body as some kind of machine, some kind of mechanical device. And you'll see that even when it comes on to thoughts, because firstly he tells us this in the introduction, and he starts by telling us what thoughts are. So he doesn't mess about, Hobbes, he gets right into it, and his chapters are very clearly written. They really are. They're very, they are very easy to read, let's put it like that. And so thoughts are a representation or an appearance or an image. I mean, these are really three synonymous words, and he uses all three of these at different points. It's a representation of an object, some kind of real thing, and that's what a thought is. It's not an object, that's something different, but it's the representation of an object. That's what a thought is. Okay, and he tells us then that men measure not only other men, but all things by themselves. Yeah, there's this very strong theme of self-interest that runs all the way through the Leviathan. You know, Hobbes thinks that people are motivated by self-preservation, self-interest, and we see it right down here. It's the law of nature that he talks about before he talks about all the others. So in other words, this is the foundation. Self-preservation is at the foundation of Hobbes's ethical system. Yeah, and that might sound strange to you, that self-interest is at the heart of his ethics, but it certainly is. And so he tells us, yeah, that men measure not only other men, but all things by themselves. Now, he goes on to give some kind of criticism of previous ideas of motion. Yeah, and he really is attacking Aristotle and the scholastics, so Thomas Aquinas. He says that some of these people claim, you know, that, well, because they get tired when they move, they suppose that objects, things, get tired, and therefore heavy bodies fall out of an appetite to rest. Yeah, they fall out of this appetite to rest. Now, he's certain